Imagine this. You wake up one morning in a small, dim room with no windows and no doors. The air is thick with the sense of familiarity, yet you have no recollection of how you arrived. Shadows dance on the walls, etching symbols of former joys and fears you're unable to fully grasp. Objects around you float in a disconcerting suspension, like memories on the verge of recognition, but always slipping away before they coalesce into understanding. It's quiet in a deafening way, filling your mind with a cacophony of unasked questions and unfulfilled desires. There's a disquiet, a gnawing sensation that everything you've assumed about your world teeters precariously on the brink of irrelevance. You stand in the center of this metaphorical space, an elaborate tapestry of your psyche woven into every fiber of your being. Yet, the edges of your consciousness pry open, teasing you with paradox. Are you the architect of this space, or merely an occupant? In this shifting realm, you encounter scenarios that seem drawn from the fringes of your imagination, familiar yet distorted, as if viewed through a funhouse mirror. You stumble upon a mirror reflecting a version of yourself that flickers between past and present. The eyes staring back convey countless stories yet speak no truths. You can't help but wonder, is this image you see the life you consciously authored, or is it simply a collage conceived by desires, social expectations, and fears you never truly recognized? As the days morph into nights seamlessly and without distinction, you come to confront the unsettling possibility that the boundaries of your existence are not defined by tangible walls, but by the confines of your own mind. This realization reverberates in your soul like an endless echo in an empty chamber. What if your mind, the very instrument through which you perceive reality, is the ultimate prison? What if all your endeavors, dreams, ambitions, and even failures have been predestined by the parameters of this mental realm, a realm constructed of beliefs etched into your psyche by others long before you had the awareness to question them? You begin to question the very nature of your identity. If your thoughts, feelings, and perceptions can be influenced to such an extent, is there truly a self beyond the layers of conditioning and neurology? Or does the self dissolve into something vast and unfathomable when peeled away from the programmed mind? As you delve deeper into this introspection, unraveling the fabric of what you thought was your identity, an urgent question manifests: if the mind can indeed be a confounding labyrinth, with no beginning or end, does every decision you've ever made hold significance, or are you merely following a script inscribed in the deepest recesses of your subconscious? Perplexed and yearning for understanding, you are on the verge of despair when a sliver of light pierces the dense fog enveloping your thoughts, hinting at the possibility of liberation. But at what price? Can one truly escape this mental labyrinth to find a place where authentic existence is possible? And if so, what remnants of the self will be left to emerge tarnished yet enlightened from the shadows? With these haunting questions hanging in the balance, you find yourself yearning to decipher the cryptic messages etched within your mind. What cosmic dance led you to this existential juncture, and what paths lie ahead, shrouded in uncertainty but pregnant with potential for awakening? Thus, a new journey ensues, propelling you into the depths of psychological and philosophical inquiry that promises not only to unravel the hidden architecture of the mind, but to reveal the profound truth lurking beneath layers of consciousness, yearning to be discovered. Prepare to venture beyond, into the heart of the hidden problem influencing every fragment of human experience. In the vast tapestry of human consciousness, there exists a hidden weft and warp, a delicate yet unyielding structure that entraps us without our awareness. This structure is both architect and warden, shaping our thoughts and behaviors in ways so subtle that we mistake them for autonomy. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once warned of the perils of following paths laid out by others, proclaiming, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But what if the why we cling to is but an illusion, carefully crafted and fed to us through societal tendrils that reach into the deepest caverns of our minds? Delve deeper, and you find the seeds of this hidden problem sown through the fertile soil of psychological conditioning. From birth, our minds are fertile fields, primed for cultivation. The first seeds are planted by well-meaning parents, echoing the residual scars and triumphs of their own shadows. As you grow, the garden of your mind becomes a battleground of competing narratives, some nourishing, others suffocating, but almost all not of your own sowing. Carl Jung, the great explorer of the human psyche, spoke of the collective unconscious, a vast shared reservoir of experiences and motifs inherited from our forebears. It whispers to us in archetypes within our dreams and the myths that captivate our hearts. While Jung saw this as a source of wisdom, it also binds us to ancient patterns, sedimentary layers of fear and desire that keep us tethered to primal instincts far removed from conscious choice. But it is not merely the shadows of ancestry that bind us. Arthur Schopenhauer, with his relentless exploration of human will, believed that our desires are inherently insatiable, leading us into a perpetual state of suffering. Society, keenly aware of this endless yearning, offers temporary distractions packaged as progress, the latest technology, the newest ideology, a pantheon of societal norms promising fulfillment yet constantly falling short. In this landscape, the mind becomes a slave to its own hybrid creation, one part instinct, one part conditioned response. We emulate society's ideals, pursue its defined successes, internalize its fears, all the while questioning why happiness remains an elusive specter. Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialist ruminations further illuminate this plight with his notion of an bad faith, the self-deception. That's integral to human nature, the denial of our own freedom to submerge in societal roles conveniently scripted for us. Is it any wonder, then, that in a world demanding constant adaptation to its shifting paradigms, we might feel ensnared by our own minds? Yet the influence of these forces does not stop with the individual. Entire societies are structured around these psychological archetypes and philosophical delusions, reinforcing the entrapment. Aldous Huxley's grimly prophetic vision in A Brave New World illustrates how a community can collectively succumb to mind conditioning, promoting conformity to the status quo as a pillar of harmony and civilization. How much, after all, have we unconsciously absorbed merely to belong, to be counted among the well-adjusted? Beyond individual and societal conditioning lies another insidious blind spot: cultural narratives that dictate what it means to live a meaningful life. Viktor Frankl, a beacon of hope amidst the bleak despair of concentration camps, proposed that our primary drive is not pleasure, as Freud suggested, nor power, as Nietzsche declared, but meaning. Yet such meaning is often pre-packaged, layered with consumerist values, religious fervors, and political dogmas, reducing the quest for individual significance to a collective mantra chanted in ignorance. Many wander along this path, never questioning the hymns of conformity sung in unison. Those who break away often feel the void, an existential loneliness that threatens to engulf before it reforms into freedom. The unseen forces, the convergence of psychological conditioning, philosophical oversight, and societal entrapment, insulate us from the raw, vivid experience of reality. As you stand at the precipice of this understanding, the profound contradictions of being challenge you to gaze deeper. How do you navigate an existence crafted by forces that insist on their own invisibility? The realization that liberation begins with awareness invites a revelatory confrontation with the unseen forces around and within you. But what lies beyond awareness? How do these hidden chains silently shape personal destinies and societal constructs? It's time to navigate the labyrinth deeper and uncover the unseen consequences of living a life tinted by these unseen forces. The hidden architecture of the human mind, entwined with subconscious conditioning and philosophical oversight, exerts a silent authority that shapes the very contours of reality itself. It has the power to bend individuals and societies alike to its will, dictating the course of existence with an unseen yet steady hand. As you delve into the depths of this phenomenon, you begin to uncover the far-reaching consequences that ripple outward from the confines of the mind to manifest in every facet of life. First, consider the realm of identity. Every decision, every desire seems filtered through a lens shaped by invisible architects of thought. The self-fulfilling prophecy, a psychological tendency where expectations influence outcomes, casts its shadow here. Believing oneself to be incapable or unworthy, these thoughts calcify into reality, an alchemical reaction that transforms mere misgivings into incontrovertible truths. What could have been a life of bold exploration is reduced to a threadbare tapestry woven from threads of doubt and social expectation. Neurological insights into cognitive biases reveal another layer of this entrapment. Biases such as confirmation bias and the Dunning-Kruger effect interact with the skeleton key of perception, unlocking only selective realities. The world becomes a hall of mirrors, reflecting the innermost preconceptions back onto itself, distorting perspective into a selective echo chamber. For instance, one might staunchly cling to flawed ideologies, impervious to evidence or logic, simply because their mind refuses to breach the fortress of preconceived notions. Beyond the individual, societies are built upon these shared delusions. Cultural conditioning morphs into societal norms, the unwritten rules that govern behavior and values. Deep within, you sense an invisible hand of conformity nudging entire populations toward acquiescence, even at the expense of authenticity. To challenge this equilibrium is to risk ostracism or chaos. For the individual or collective that dares to unsettle these entrenched foundations is often met with swift reproach. Entire systems of governance, economies, and educational paradigms are molded by this mental infrastructure. Consider the systemic flaws visible in hyper-competitive cultures where worth is quantified by material success rather than existential fulfillment. These frameworks become breeding grounds for existential malaise, resulting in surging instances of mental health crises and alienation. The pursuit of more becomes an unyielding dance, with each added acquisition an empty promise of potential happiness. A culture subsumed by these unseen forces finds itself on a runaway train with no conductor, propelled in a ceaseless loop of progress without destination. This systemic inertia strips individuals of their sovereign agency, placing them on a predestined track that shirks true growth for the comfort of consistency. The external environment, deteriorating through rampant consumerism, mirrors the internal erosion of fulfillment and purpose. Global challenges such as environmental degradation and social inequality emerge as intricately linked with the hidden chains of the mind. The refusal to acknowledge climate science, perhaps stemmed from a bias towards immediate gratification and denial of unpleasant truths, unravels with dire consequences. Meanwhile, societal stratifications become entrenched as constructs established by the ruling class are perpetuated, mirroring the internal divisions stemming from cognitive dissonance. In the microcosm of human relationships, these unseen consequences wreak havoc in matters of intimacy and connection. Partners become objects to fulfill unmet needs, dictated by subconscious longings and societal stereotypes, each side projecting unacknowledged parts of themselves onto the other, leading to cycles of unmet expectations and disillusionment. The stories of countless relationships echo with a shared refrain, and if only you were different, unaware that the real plea may be, if only I were free. With every revelation, the weight of urgency grows. As you stand amidst this crumbling facade of predetermined roles and artificial desires, understand that escape requires nothing short of a metamorphosis, a courageous step beyond the mental boundaries that have shaped your very existence. It teeters on the tangible edge of discovery, yet the question looms, how do you take that step? How does one confront a reality that is both a creation and creator? These unseen consequences offer both warning and impetus, urging a transformation from within, a rebellion against the snares of the mind. As this awareness crystallizes, the once indiscernible chains now lay visible, presenting an opportunity for liberation. The escape demands addressing the root of these conditioning forces. In the genesis of this rebellion, an exploration into radical shifts beckons, paths less wandered that promise to break this cycle once and for all. How does upheaval transform into liberation? Prepare to discover the rebellion and begin your ascent into uncharted freedom. In the quiet aftermath of revelation, where the unseen chains of the mind have been laid bare, the call to rebellion echoes with the promise of freedom. This is no ordinary revolution. It demands an upheaval of the inner world, a radical reconfiguration of thought that defies the very algorithms that have dictated your perceptions and experiences. Imagine gripping the chisel of consciousness in your hand, poised to carve a new path through the crumbling edifice of mental constraints. Envision a shift in perspective, one as profound as Galileo's assertion that the Earth orbits the Sun. Just as that realization redefined our place in the cosmos, understanding the autonomous nature of your consciousness demands a willingness to question everything you've ever known. It begins with the fierce acknowledgement that true liberation comes not from the external, but resides within the uncharted depths of the self. Consider Viktor Frankl's emblematic notion of meaning. Like a diver plunging into the deep, seek not the surface validation offered by societal norms, but the profound significance in small, deliberate acts of authenticity. Recognize that meaning is not a universal constant, but rather a personal journey, assembled from the intentionality of each moment. This quest for purpose, stripped of societal expectations, empowers a reclamation of agency. Turning to historical exemplars, Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolent resistance offers a blueprint for mental rebellion. His subcontinent-wide movement against colonial powers was as much an internal revolt against conditioned fear and dependency. Emulate his strategy not through external rebellion, but by peacefully dismantling the internal constructs that limit your freedom. The prison of the mind also buckles under nonviolence, patience, and the steady light of truth. Propose to yourself a radical inquiry, the relentless questioning of everything that seems to be set in stone. Channel Socrates' dialectical method, replacing every defendant concept with an assertion not rapidly concluded but dissected with patient restraint. Each ingrained belief about yourself or the world becomes a candidate for rigorous scrutiny. Once you begin to replace automatic responses with conscious choices, the mind's opacity begins to yield to the rays of reasoned light. Another essential tool lies in cultivating mindfulness, a disciplined awareness of the present moment disentangled from prejudiced past or anxious future. Through mindfulness, as taught in Zen practices, the mind begins to unfurl, revealing the subtle layers of attachment and aversion that color experience. The once tenacious grip of societal conditioning loosens, replaced by a refreshed perception of the now, raw and unfiltered. Break the deceptive spell by choosing experience over theory. Travel not as a tourist, rush to capture highlights, but as a pilgrim eager to absorb the spirit of place and its lessons. Seek environments and encounters that challenge you to rethink preconceived notions, establishing new neural pathways that doubt and redefine what is possible. This expansion from static to dynamic mindsets cultivates wisdom. In crafting a new mental architecture, construct a more nuanced understanding of freedom. Aldous Huxley's assertion, "Experience is not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you," becomes the battle cry of this inner rebellion. Accept hardships as crucibles for growth, rather than shackles of unjust fate, and redefine failures as crucial stepping stones toward enlightenment. Cultivate communities that thrive on understanding and empathy, rather than conformity and fear. Surround yourself with those who, like you, seek illumination in the shadowy recesses of consciousness. Those who are unswayed by the undercurrents of societal dictates. Strength in numbers amplifies the potential of this journey, creating a robust foundation for transformation that includes collective awakening. Bold actions, however, need underpinning by reflection, a steadfast retreat into solitude for synthesis. The solitude of Thoreau at Walden Pond exemplifies how withdrawal from society provides clarity to craft thoughtful rebellion. It is in silence that the cacophony of the world fades, leaving room for the unprecedented realization of self beyond imposed narratives. The rebellion is not without stumbles or fears, each setback merely a cue to recalibrate. Steeling one's resolve against disillusionment, recognizing that progress is not linear but a spiraling ascent towards an unbound existence, one must surrender to the journey itself. For here ends not a task, but a lifetime commitment to embracing the authentic self. In this ongoing dance with liberation, you begin to feel the unseen chains weakening as you edge closer to the ultimate realization, a glimpse beyond the confines of the conditioned mind. The rebellion's reverberations magnify your momentum, propelling you towards the ultimate truth. A revelation awaits that will tie every fragment of this journey into a greater understanding, unveiling the hidden latticework of reality itself. Now, With anticipation gathering like an impending storm on the horizon, dare to step into the culminating chapter of understanding, the ultimate truth that redefines the self and reality. As the echoes of rebellion fade into a profound silence, you stand on the brink of revelation. The journey thus far has been a descent into the labyrinth of your own consciousness, each step unraveling the threads of conditioned thought to reveal a deeper, more intrinsic truth. Now, poised at the threshold of ultimate understanding, a realization awaits that promises to redefine reality itself, weaving the strands of your experiences into a luminous tapestry. Imagine gazing up at a night sky on the cusp of dawn, where stars twinkle faintly yet distinctly in the glow of impending daylight. In this moment, each celestial point of light represents a fragment of the reality you have so carefully examined and challenged. As the horizon brightens, these fragments coalesce into a single cohesive vision, a cosmic paradox where everything and nothing become one. This is the essence of the ultimate truth, the understanding that your perception of reality is both a creation and a perception, a dynamic interplay between the observer and the observed. Here you see the profound intertwining of your consciousness with the vast unfolding universe, a revelation that liberates you from the constraints of duality and separateness. The realization dawns that you are not merely in the world, you are of the world. In the midst of this transformation, you discover that freedom and limitation, joy and suffering, are not opposites but complements. Each exists to define and give meaning to the other. Like the notes in a symphony, their interplay creates the rich texture of human experience. This holistic view transcends the binaries that have long divided your mind and spirit, delivering an exhilarating sense of unity. Consider Jean-Paul Sartre's assertion that existence precedes essence, an audacious claim that now resonates with newfound clarity. Life is not precast in form and function, but is an open tableau on which you are free to paint with the colors of choice and intent. This ultimate truth empowers you with a profound responsibility to shape your own existence with conscious creativity, unbounded by the dictates of past conditioning. With this paradigm shift, you come to embrace the fluidity of identity. Who you are is no longer a static entity trapped within rigid confines, but a dynamic process, unfurling and evolving with each moment, each choice. This understanding births a deeper compassion for self and others, as you recognize the shared journey of becoming that unites all of humanity. Moreover, time, so long perceived as linear and inexorable, reveals itself as an illusion. Past, present, and future dissolve into a seamless continuum where every moment exists simultaneously. In this space, you realize the power of presence, the ability to act with deliberate intention in the now, untethered from regret or anxiety. It is here that you find true stillness, a tranquil oasis amidst the chaos of worldly concerns. In the glow of this formidable clarity, the world appears anew. Landscapes once marred by the shadows of doubt and fear transform into vistas of potential, stretching infinitely before you. Nature's mysteries beckon to be explored, not as obstacles but as partners in the dance of discovery. Aldous Huxley, contemplating the scope of human experience, once remarked on the doors of perception. These are the portals you now see opening before you, doors to dimensions of consciousness that defy limitation and embrace infinity. With each open door, the boundless potential of the human spirit is revealed, only to expand further with every awakened thought. In reaching the pinnacle of realization, you come to understand that this journey is both an end and a beginning. The ultimate truth is not a destination but a dynamic constant, a guiding star within the cosmos of the heart. It is this truth that propels you onward, intrepidly venturing further into the depths of understanding, knowing that reality is not merely something you experience but something you continuously create. With this final chapter closed, the echoes of your liberation resound through the corridors of eternity, urging others to rise and question the world within them. As you turn into this new frontier, may your mind long delight in its newfound freedom, inspired by the wisdom of generations past, but ever open to the limitless possibilities of the future. Your journey, now intertwined with the universal narrative, beckons you with a singular invitation: live fully, love deeply, and experience each moment as a testament to the infinite potential of human consciousness.